Well, the mid-season finale of American Horror Story Delicate is here, and it's safe to say that this final episode most definitely gave us some of the answers that we were looking for around the identity of Ms Preecher, whilst also setting up some more mystery with the cliffhanger that it was left on. So with that, let's recap, break down, and explain all that there was to take away from this episode. Here is American Horror Story Delicate Episode 5 Ending Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Ms Preecher's origin revealed. Well, who'd have thunk it? Mrs Preecher is actually on the side of good and not evil. The opening part of this episode took us back to 1987 in Manhattan, which would have probably been the time of the last season of the show, come to think of it. Jeez, New York wasn't a place to be in the 80s with all of this going on. We saw that Ms Preecher was in a similar position to what Anna was in, on the cusp of wanting the world but also being pregnant with a child. However, Ms Preecher didn't actually want her child as it wasn't part of her plan. Her becoming pregnant was the result of a one-night stand. We found out that Ms Preecher essentially signed a deal that was similar to what we saw Queen Mary make in the 1500s. Ms Preecher was promised guaranteed success in the world, but in return, it meant that she had to give birth to the baby that she didn't want and then give it away. What was interesting about this was that Dr. Hill was there in the 80s, the same doctor that had been seeing Anna and helping her along with her pregnancy, so it showed that just like the Ashleys, he hasn't aged a day since then, meaning that he's most likely a part of this group that makes deals and then in return takes the demonic babies. Ms Preecher was in the fashion industry and seen as a protege, so her taking this deal was something that aligned with her viewpoint of wanting to have a large amount of success, and with the money that she made, she mentioned that it wasn't enough. So I wonder if this means that there's long-term effects that end up taking place, meaning that maybe she could no longer have children after it was done when she may have eventually wanted them, something that I could see being a consequence of part of this deal, especially seeing how much Anna wanted a child. So how does that tie into Anna? Well, as far as we know, Anna hasn't actually made a deal where she'd give up her baby in return for a large amount of success. However, there have been moments in the show where we've seen her sign things, such as the doll of herself, which I believe is now some kind of voodoo doll due to seeing the same damage on the doll as to what was on Anna. But the most ominous thing that she signed was in this episode of the show, where Cora, the individual who works for Dr. Hill at the clinic, the doctor that's connected to these dark entities and is involved in the plan, gave her what looked like a consent form. Anna didn't read through it at all before signing it, as she seemed to trust Cora, something which was broken only moments later when Cora was inappropriate with Anna. So I think this consent form could be one of two things. It could actually be a contract where Anna has agreed to give up her baby, almost like signing a deal with them. Or it could be a consent form for what is eventually going to happen to her when she ends up in that red room like Ms Preecher was all of those years ago. I think it's clear to see that Anna is definitely going to be giving birth to one of those demonic babies that we saw Queen Mary have and the ones that we've seen in the title sequence. Anna's pregnancy seems to be speeding up day by day, and she's further ahead of the schedule than she should be, so it shows that it's abnormal. She's in a severe amount of pain, and we also saw her coughing up what looked like those long nails that we've seen the baby have. So the Ravenheads are most definitely going to be there alongside Anna when the time comes. Adeline's identity revealed. Within this episode, there was a moment where we found out the true identity of Adeline, Dex's ex-wife that was dead. So it turned out that she was actually a powerful player in the Cable, and due to her falling in love with Dex, she ended up defecting from the group and not wanting anything to do with it anymore. This makes me think that the mysterious kitchen fire that killed her was probably caused by the individuals that she defected from, and with us also hearing how they wanted to make Dex pay for causing one of their largest players to defect, it turns out that is the reason as to why Anna is actually being targeted, to make him pay for them being without a member. What is most interesting about this is the character Sonia, the fact that she seems to look exactly like Adeline. I think this individual is most definitely involved in what the Ravenheads are involved in. She wears all black attire just like what the Ashleys do, and she has this mysterious aura around her. With the way that Nicolette looked at Sonia, it makes me think that Nicolette is also involved and was taken back due to the fact that Sonia looked exactly like Adeline, as she probably knew her once upon a time. I think one of the Ravenheads is taking the form of Adeline. Nicolette went on to open up the gift that Anna received, and the gift that she got was an owl. Owls are said to be good and bad omens, but I feel in this instance it's probably a bad omen. Let's be real. In that case, owls are said to represent a tragedy that's soon to be arriving. So I think it's most definitely telling Anna that there's not that much time left until she's on the table and all of those nightmares that she's been having will become her reality. Siobhan's identity is slipping. Siobhan has been sus from day one, there's no getting around that. She seems to be connected to a lot of the bad things that tend to go on with Anna. For example, she was there at the award ceremony when Anna was hallucinating. The voodoo dolls always pop up when she's around, the mirror cracked in her presence, and she's been handing out more of those B12 shots to Anna, something which is definitely not what it seems. Within this episode, we saw that Hamish confronted Siobhan, where we found out the origin of the movie that Anna has been nominated for a ton of awards in. Hamish was told that he had to do nothing but put his name on the movie, to not ask any questions about the script because it was so poor, and just directed. Anna was even considered to be an actress that would even contribute to the fact that it would go nowhere, showing that prior to the point where we met her, she couldn't have been that good of an actress. So this shows that there's a higher power and a being that's there that's also able to call all of the shots. Whether it be Siobhan, who's made a deal to be successful, or if it's Anna, that's something that I think we may find out more of as time goes on. It would be a twist if it was Siobhan who made this deal to be this successful agent but offered up one of her clients to be the people who held onto the baby that they desired. But it's a pretty thin theory at the moment. I think Siobhan is involved with the Ashleys. We saw that there were 4 Ravenheads down the street when Dex's mother walked there. 2 account for the Ashleys, then that leaves 2 other spots. I think it's either going to be filled with Nicolette, Siobhan, or Sonia. So there's definitely room for 2 more. With us previously seeing a conspiracy from Preecher Speaks that there was a cable of witches that run Hollywood, Siobhan could be their leader. In the closing moments of the episode, we saw that Siobhan asked Anna if she wanted an Oscar as much as she wanted a baby, and Anna responded with yes. This very much seems like Anna confirming an indirect deal, with Babette being the actress who won the Golden Globe and Anna waking up in the morning and finding out that she'd been killed. It seems as though a deadly game is at play. Prior to this happening, we saw that Anna had a hand put around her, and then the next thing we saw was that she woke up and had no clue. What was interesting about this was that it was a red glove, a glove that we've seen in the doctor's clinic, and also when Cora was in her apartment. So I think her waking up in bed in the morning in completely different clothes is going to have something to do with them, and maybe even be connected to what happened to Babette. Overall review. I thought this was a good episode for sure. It's probably one of the best episodes in the season. I feel like it shone a light on the story, gave us some answers, and set up the second part of Season 12 in a way that's left a lot of anticipation. Emma Roberts has done a great job in this season so far. She's become a real figurehead and face of the show, and every time she joins the cast of a season, you know that it's going to be a real solid performance. I'd say that Kim Kardashian as Siobhan has definitely grown on me more as the season has gone on. She's gone from being an NPC to, well, a level above. I'd actually say that the guy that plays Hamish is actually coming across the least convincing, but he's not had that much screen time, so it's not that much of an issue. I'm definitely intrigued to see where this season is going to go from here, because it definitely feels like there's still so much more to see. We've had 5 episodes and now there's a break. Most shows tend to be around 8 episodes a season now, so I'm hoping that we get more than 3 episodes when it does return, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens when it does come back. So, there you have it, American Horror Story Delicate Season 12 Episode 5 Ending Explained. If you want to see more videos such as Endings Explained, theories and predictions, and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What did you think of this episode? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.